Hey everyone, it's Dr. Danielle Clark. You are here with Onwards. It's all about healing conversations to get you unstuck. I'm a psychic medium, intuitive life coach, writer, dog mama, cat mama, business professor, and so much more. I'm also a proud wife and human mama as well. Today, you have come here to live lighter. We're going to talk about decluttering. Such an important topic. I am extremely excited to be here because I don't consider myself an expert in this conversation, which is why I feel like I am the best person to bring you this. Just like you watching, I am what I would consider an everyday cleaner, just trying to figure it out, trying to figure out some new ways to organize, new ways to revitalize my space. And thanks to my spirit friends and some reading and some exploring and some of my own home innovations and home cleanings, I have found processes and ways that have really helped me to declutter. And I feel that energetically. And that's why I wanted to create this episode for you, right? When we can declutter, it really improves our mental clarity. So if you're not familiar, sometimes when we're feeling disorganized, it might actually not be that our mind is chaotic. It might actually be that it is picking up the energy of an environment. So for an example, that junk drawer you have, right? Let's say you've been spending some time in the kitchen and the junk drawer in the kitchen is not organized and you can't find anything in it. Well, even if you had just went into that drawer, let's say an hour ago, and you spent some time throwing this way and this that way and trying to look for something and then going over to another drawer being flustered, and then all of a sudden you find that your mind is chaotic, maybe not even right then and there, but later on, it might be because you're still carrying the energy of that situation. It's my belief that when we are in spaces that are light, that are bright, that offer us ease of navigation, it's going to reflect our mindset. It's going to reflect our emotional abilities to go ahead and move through things with a little bit more ease and grace. So the importance of decluttering is also time saving, right? Those 5 minutes we're looking for something, or the 10 minutes or the 30 minutes where we really have to go through every envelope, every file looking for a piece of paper. That's exhausting. That's time out of our day that we could be using for us, maybe a creative replenishing task, right? And it's also energy. It's an energy suck because oftentimes when we can't find something, we feel out of control. And when we feel out of control, it zaps a lot of our energy. So another motivator of us wanting to declutter is so that we have a little bit more empowerment, a little bit more control of our day, of our time. Now, the big tip I want to give you today as it relates to decluttering is it really starts with a mindset shift. Oftentimes, especially if we do have those spaces that just have a lot of stuff, right? The glove box in our car, the junk drawer, the closet, the spare room. It feels like a daunting task, right? And that's perhaps maybe why you're here, because you want to live lighter and you know you need to declutter, but you don't know how and you don't know where. Well, the first thing to do is a mindset shift, right? Decluttering can be daunting, or it can be empowering. Decluttering can be a creative expression. Decluttering can be a way to get some activity, some exercise within the house. So I encourage you to, whatever your negative connotation is around decluttering, really work on breaking those and adding a little heart and a little fun into this concept of organizing, decluttering, cleaning. It's so important, because the reality is it's rewarding. Anytime we invest in ourselves, whether we're learning a new task, whether we're doing something of a self-care ritual, right? Reading a book just for us, or taking a bath or a walk, it's nourishing. It's for us. And cleaning and organizing and decluttering is the same. Now, often what happens is people don't understand fully why they think cleaning and organizing is daunting. And I also encourage you, ask yourself the question why a few times to see if you can really get to the root of why this negative feeling of cleaning is coming up. Oftentimes when I work with clients in this discovery mode, it will come up that there is a lot of shame attached to the way they've let their house get out of control, for lack of a better term, right? And so it's not really that the task is daunting. There's a deeper emotion there. There's guilt, there's shame, there's I could haves, there's I should haves, right? And that's important to identify too, because for you to move through this, it's not just about what you do, which is what I'm going to offer you in a little bit, the techniques of decluttering, but you need to know the why, right? And you're always going to feel stuck if you haven't forgiven yourself for the dust here or the boxes there, right? And oftentimes there's a lot of emotion connected to objects, which also paralyzes us a little bit. Sometimes there's some limiting beliefs on what we keep, especially from those that we love that may have departed and that are now in heaven. I know so many people who feel a sense of obligation because great grandma passed away, and then grandma passed away, and dad passed away, and they feel as though keeping everything of all the relatives is a way to honor them. And I would challenge that, because as a psychic medium, I know our loved ones in heaven want us happy, and they want us vibing as high as we can so we can communicate with them and God and just go about our soul journey with some love and lightness. And it's been my personal and professional experiences with spirit that they don't hang on to that clinging of tangibles like we do here. So although they still might like something, there's not a gripping. So again, there might be some limiting beliefs in what you're thinking about. Now, let me stay with this one because I think this is important. I'm not saying that you have to get rid of everything of someone's that departed, but consider what limiting beliefs you might be attaching. You know, dad would be mad if I got rid of this. I'm coming to you with a different perspective saying, I don't think dad would be. Again, I've talked to thousands and thousands in heaven, and they just want us happier. So work through your deep feelings to get to a place of willingness to change and exploration. Now, as it relates to some of those items, right, whether they're attached to grief or honoring someone you love, or maybe just an even important time in your life, your first girlfriend, your first boyfriend, right, all of your soccer trophies, like whatever those feels are, if you find that you have a lot of stuff, as a light worker, as an energy worker, I want to remind you that we can always get that energy back. We don't need an object. And I say that because you might want to just sit with one soccer trophy as an example and really imprint your memories and your feelings on that one trophy, and almost have this ceremony of sorts, saying that this soccer trophy is going to be the one that you keep, that encapsulates all of them. And then then depart with the rest. See how that feels, because again, you don't need every single object to bring you what you're looking for. And the reality is, we should be hanging on to objects for the memories and for the feels, and you don't necessarily need the object. There's also tons of ways that you can recreate if you're trying to minimize space. So for an example, you have all these trophies. Maybe you create a book. Maybe you get some really high quality photos of the trophies and you get them printed out, or maybe you get them put on a collage. And you accept that you're going to depart with the actual trophies, but you're going to keep this picture book or this collage. Same thing, maybe you have a lot of your son's old t-shirts when he was growing up. Go and have those recreated into a blanket, for an example. I want to encourage you to be creative as well. So as you're trying to make space, you can think about ways in which that you can take the objects you like and make them a little bit more smaller, a little bit newer, if you will, too. And that really helps the energy as well. Let me talk a little bit more about the energy and objects. I believe that energy exists everywhere we go, and some objects have much more energy on them than others. And if you find that it's really hard for you to separate from an object, or even that you have some codependence on an object, but you also know that it's not serving you, right? It's not giving you optimal joy. It's not working like it used to. Pray on it. Pray on it. I do a little prayer that just says, I am cutting cords with this object. I am cutting feelings with this object. Let it be done. And, just a short, sweet prayer. And I visualize almost that energetic cord being cut, right? So that way you can look at the object constructively. Because sometimes when we're working on decluttering, we actually need to close the heart up a little bit, right? Depending who you are, every situation is unique. But sometimes we should be looking at objects a little bit more fact-based, right? Like I mentioned earlier, am I using this? Do I find joy in it? Is it worth the space that it's taking up, right? Ask yourself some questions and try to get a little distance from that emotion. It's my belief that as much as possible, every object should have a home. And that's a nice way to bring your heart back, right? Every object should have a home. If it is an object that you're keeping, that you appreciate, it should have a home. And that might be a nice test for you too, as you're deciding what should stay, what should be donated, what should go, is okay, does it have a home? Because typically the things that we naturally already really treasure, they already have a perfect box that they go in, or a perfect frame that they go in, or that space in the closet. It's the things that we don't necessarily care much about that end up in the junk drawers, right? So look at the things that don't have a home and ask yourself, why doesn't this object have a home? Is it because I don't have a fondness of it, right? Or maybe I just don't have a need for it. Oftentimes there's a limiting belief around money too. We hang on to things. Well, I might need this, or I spent $10 on this, or I spent $1,000 on this 10 years ago. It's worth too much. Try to get rid of that as well too. The reality is, for us to experience the financial abundance that we are all here to experience and all here to claim in our own special ways, is we need some ebbs and flows. We can't hang on to everything. Hanging on to everything doesn't give that law of attraction, the yin and yang, the ebb and the flow. It's my belief that we should be departing with things regularly. What can we give to a friend? What can we give to an animal shelter? What can we give to a woman's shelter? What belongs recycled? What belongs in the trash? Very, very important to continue those cycles. So that way you can get new things and new opportunities, new gifts, new people offering you things. That circle of financial life, if you will, is really, really important. So if you're finding you're hanging on to stuff because it's worth money, and okay, some of it might be, think about a plan then. If that's just the only reason, when's the next yard sale? Right? When's the next yard sale? When can you release this object? And just ask spirit to help you, right? Bring the right people to the yard sale at the right time. I trust that my products are going to leave. I trust that my items, I trust that my belongings are going to leave in perfect timing. That's a really good one to do too. Now, decluttering, like I said at the beginning of this episode, full disclosure, I gave you, I am not an expert in this area. And so for me, one of the aspects of cleaning and organizing that's really tricky is it just doesn't come natural. And so if you find yourself in the same boat as me, do what you can to get inspiration other places. I walk around IKEA and Target regularly. Oh, I like that container. Oh, I like how that's displayed. I'm flipping through magazines. I ask my friends, like, what do you do in the pantry for this? Like, any good ideas on how I should put this? Like all of that. What should I do? It's really important to keep the creative juices going, and just try things. Some things aren't going to work out. That was me last year. I bought a few organizers for my closet, and I'm like, this is going to be the answer to my socks and underwear and bras being everywhere. And you know what? It wasn't the answer. The container ended up just being a weird size, and I couldn't see things as well as I wanted. And the reality is, yep, I wasted $30. But I'll tell you, I didn't waste $30. I tried something new, and I accepted when it didn't work, which is also really important with decluttering. And then I went to a new system, and the new system's working really well. So don't be afraid to take some risks. It is uncomfortable when we change the flow in our house, especially at first, right? We're used to things being in a certain place, even if it's that disorganized certain place, right? So don't be afraid of taking risks. And also, I really want you to value what 5 minutes can do. What I'm talking about here today doesn't need to be, okay, I need to ask my boss for a week off so I can get my house organized, although that would be lovely. 5 minutes at a time can work wonders if you're committed to decluttering, right? Open that drawer and just decide, yes, I'm tossing. Yes, I'm tossing. Yes, I'm recycling. Yes, I'm going to donate this to the library, right? It can be 5 minutes goes a long way. Sometimes it can just be mental, right? Think about what you could accomplish and how you're going to take action when you have a little bit more time. Write out a plan for some of the bigger items, right? You're going to sell something on Facebook Marketplace, or you're going to take something to the Salvation Army. Don't get stuck thinking you need a lot of time for the decluttering. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here is really critical. It's just like when we were younger and we were taught the value of compound interest. Time is the same way, right? If you look at the value of 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, you're going to be making these micro improvements to your home, and you're going to start feeling better, feeling productive. And I guarantee you, you're going to move through that, oh, this is daunting feeling, and you're going to find some satisfaction. Because when we are decluttering and organizing and cleaning, it really is instant satisfaction. It's instant improvement. It's instant clarity, if you will. I know the word joy was mentioned earlier, and I just want to emphasize on that as well, too. If something's not giving you joy, what's the point? What's the point? It's hard departing with our items. Another thing I would suggest you do is, if you know something doesn't give you joy, but you think one day it might, right? Maybe the size 4 pants that you used to fit into a few years ago and haven't worn since, put them in a Tupperware. Put anything that you haven't used in the last few months in a Tupperware, in a box, put it in the garage, put it in the attic, just put it out of sight. and commit that you'll circle back to those items in 2 or 3 months. This is a great way to determine, do you really miss the object? Because again, there might just be an unhealthy energetic cord there, right? Did you actually go in the box to get the object? And if you did, how many times did you have to go back and forth, right? So maybe you did use the object once, put it back in the box, then you didn't use it again for another 3 months, right? And this is a really good activity too, because it helps you experience what that lighter kitchen feels like and looks like, what that lighter closet of yours feels like and looks like. This is a good one to do with shoes, for an example, because then you can truly decide, wow, it's been so easy to navigate my closet lately. And yikes, I haven't even worn these shoes. I didn't go in the garage for 3 months to grab them, and I never even thought about them. It might make your decision clearer and easier because you've already given yourself a little distance. Now, while we're talking about decluttering and living lighter, we can't forget digital decluttering. It's one of those things, again, it's all energy. And even though you might not see it or fully understand its impact, it's there. Too many files on our desktop, too many contacts in our phone, too many tabs open. Again, it creates a chaotic energy, a chaotic atmosphere. And it's really important that when adopting this less is more mindset, that you go through things that, again, aren't giving you joy, that aren't being used, and you depart with them. Phones, your pictures, right? Get on your phone and make a commitment. And again, this is another great opportunity for that. I only have 5 minutes. Maybe you're in line at the grocery store, or you're waiting for the doctor to see you. Go through that. It's satisfying, right? And it feels like, how do I want to say this? It feels like an accomplishment, and it also can give you some motivation to work on the tangibles as well at the house, knowing you're already making progress on your digital decluttering, right? So again, trying to get yourself in the mindset that this is energizing, that I have the ability, that I am coming from a place of power to create a space of lightness. Start going through the things on your phone and your computer, or even on your TV, right? Depending on what streaming service you use, the favorites, if they're no longer favorites, recordings, all of that. Just get down to what you need. You're gonna feel the difference. Before we depart, I have a few affirmations I want to read to you, in hopes that you'll come back to these when you need them on your decluttering journey. So let me get these ready for you. Here's the first one. I release what no longer serves me, creating space for new opportunities and abundance in my life. I am the curator of my own environment, and I choose to surround myself with only what brings me joy and positive energy. With each item I let go of, I free myself from the past and open up possibilities for growth and transformation. I deserve a clutter-free and organized space that promotes clarity, focus, and peace of mind. As I declutter, I create a physical and mental space that allows me to fully embrace the present moment and live a more intentional and fulfilling life. How beautiful are those? When you need a little hit of love and inspiration, I hope you come to this video, and I hope you play them. I hope you write them down. I hope you say them to yourself, because this is important. You are important. The way in which you go about your life and experience all of your moments matters. and ensuring that you have a beautiful space to navigate energetically and the physical is so critical. And I'll leave you with the thought of, don't feel like you need to do this alone, right? Like this might be one of those where you're still like, okay, this helped a little bit, but this is still really big and overwhelming for me. Okay, that's okay. Invite a friend over. Maybe create a little swapsy with your friend. Hey, I have this beast of a project, AKA my closet. Can we do a girls' Saturday at my house going through everything? And then I'll swap and I'll do a girls' Saturday with you going through anything you want at your house. That sounds fun, right? And then it gives you a little motivation, a little accountability, and also some perspective, right? Like your friend might be able to give you the kick in the butt. That's a little hard for you to give. And there are people we can hire too, right? There's professional organizers. Depending on what your sticky point is, you can also work with a therapist a little bit. So if you're feeling like you need extra support, know it's out there too. And of course, I'm there for you as a psychic medium. If you want to have a sacred conversation with your loved one in spirit to see how they might feel about you getting rid of an object, I'd be happy to make that connection. Or if you're looking for a little psychic intuitive coaching guidance on how to go about this, like, no, I'm there for you. My website is drdanielleclark.com. And I'll leave you with that. Happy decluttering, my friends. I want you to remember, it's the cracks in your heart that let the light shine through. And so it is. If you're live, hang out. We're going to do live Q&A with me. And that's okay. If you're on the replay, it's all good. It's the same good information, the same good energy. But do know that we are here every Friday live, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you get the show, and then you get live access to me or my co-host, Kate Stakem, after, which is pretty neat. All right, take care. Bye.